All right, all right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? And some way, let mine come on here. Still haven't got my between the ceiling and my wall fixed yet. I haven't worked on this at all. I've been too busy. What's up, some way? TPG, Clint, Tom. I think I saw Bowery, Roy Phipps. I think that was all I saw earlier. Scrolling. What's up, Denny? Tom was saying it was hot outside. Yeah, I've been working. We've been working at a place putting in more windows on a second story, and I've been outside on a lift the whole time, and the sun just beaming on me. Like where we're working, the sun's pretty much there all day. What's up, BMCK, Elliot? Abraham. How was the VBS? It was good. Uh, Seemed like the kids had a good time. We had quite a few. We had a lot of kids every night, and all the adult classes were. I was in the adult classes every night and taught one of them, and then Amanda taught like the what didn't really teach. She worked at the nursery class, like the littlest kids. What's a VBS? It's a vacation Bible school. A lot of churches put them on during the summertime, and people do them all differently, but it's just basically a set amount of time during the summer, usually, to come and do like Bible classes. And they usually have like activities for the kids and put on little skits and stuff like that. And then usually they got like some kind of a theme to them. Some people do them all week and during the day. Some people do them like on a Saturday and just do it all day. Some people do it half a week. It's been different a lot of places that I've went to. How's the grandbaby? Doing good. Went to the doctor a couple days, after they got it, and then everything. They said everything was going good. Hopefully, get to go over there and see them pretty soon. We haven't got to go over there much because we've been working all day during the day and then going at nighttime to the VBS. I think the lighting in here seems to be a lot better, like in the lives, anyways. I don't know about during the videos, but like just based on what I see on my screen, I don't know what it looks like to you guys, but I think it's, and I don't even have them all turned on. I've just got the half on this side turned on. Granddaughter, loving brother. I guess so. I think that's been the hardest thing is the sleeping part of it. I think they're doing fine as far as not that kind of an issue, but one waking the other one up type of thing. Almost looks overly bright AI like. Yeah, I can tell that the shadows aren't as bad like on like where I'm normally if I wear a hat, like the top half of my face is normally just a shadow. Uh, but it's definitely like brighter looking, but sometimes I've got the display on my screen down real low and then sometimes I don't, so it may be that sometimes that I'm looking at. So yeah, I've been working primarily at the place where I used to work at. That's where we're doing the windows at. We're basically going in and finish. They had some volunteers come in and do some drywall work and stuff, and they didn't get finished. And we're coming in, which we had two more windows to replace that we had on order, and they finally came in. So that's what we've been doing. And so it's a matter of ripping out the windows, repairing some stuff on the jams and stuff, putting in new windows, doing the new metal trim around it, trim coil, like breaking it and all that kind of stuff. And then the inside of it has to be reframed because the way the windows are actually taller than the ceiling is inside, so you have to like make a little box kind of in front of the window to go out into the ceiling so it can slant up so they can put blinds and stuff up in there and all that kind of stuff and basically seal it off. And we're having to reframe that on one of them because one of the windows was covered up on the inside and they decided they wanted it back, so that's what we're doing there. And then we're going to start the drywall. We got the windows done today. We're going to start drywalling tomorrow. And then I've got a customer who called today that has a suite emptying out, like their tenant's moving out. And he said he wanted me to come in and change out all his drop-in lights in that suite to the flat panel LEDs. And I already did it in his, like, so it's like a strip mall. He's a property management guy, and I changed them all out in his office. I don't know how many's in this other one, but he said it was more than what was in his, and he had quite a few. So that'd be at least probably a couple-day job. Just depends on how the whips for the old lights work out. Sometimes you get up there and it's an easy change out. The way that it's wired and the way one went to another one, you've got plenty of slack to be able to move it to the new location on the new light. But sometimes if they cut that MC cable, pretty tight between lights, and maybe they go into the side of one light, but they have to go in the middle of the new one or something, sometimes it just doesn't work out good and you got to run new wire, but we'll see. Must feel great to be an independent contractor there instead of an employee. Yes, 100%, because this is like today, it was hot. We kind of got done with what we wanted to do at about, I think it was like 12:30 or something like that. And I had a few other things I needed to do in town. And then I knew that I had some stuff here at the house, and I was just like, I'd just soon go home. So I was able to just come home. Whereas if I worked there, I just had to keep working and doing it all day. Doesn't the old place have a crew since you left? Yeah, they've actually got 3 maintenance guys there. 3 guys taking the place of 1. And can't keep up. That's hang on, I think I've got that. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. That's what it is in real life. What's up, Pi? Lance. What's up, John? Seems a bit too bright. Let me see if we can make it more romantic for you some way. Let's see what we can turn off here. We'll turn off 3. We'll see what that does. It'll be behind. I won't be able to see the delay. That's the one that was kind of more coming at me. Now I've just got 2 above me. And then I got 1 down the middle that stays on all the time. I can't turn that one on and off. Or it stays on all the time if my light switch is on. Still at work waiting on the power to get back on. All right, I'm at the point now where I'm about to turn off a light, so I'll be able to see the difference. Yeah, see, that made me have a little bit more of a shadow on my face. So that light coming across there does kind of knock that out. And then let's see, this one would be the one that's a little bit like more behind me there. It is crazy brighter though, because which normally whenever I review tools and stuff, I only turn on those. But now, like with them on, it's like I can't even hardly see my screen. That's why on that Klein video with the GSCI tester, I couldn't tell what was showing up on my camera, like looking through it, if it was showing up or not. So I was like, well, I just had to wait until I go in there and edit it. And then if it's not, I'll just put a little screenshot off to the side and show it. Because I could see it plain as day, like my eyeballs. But like looking at my camera, I couldn't tell what it was picking up and what it couldn't because it was almost too bright. So it's a little bit of an adjustment period of it being bright. What's up, Danny? Just finished up a week with RV maintenance. Tons of AC issues with this heat wave. Yeah, it's been like the temperature's actually not been as bad as what it was. Like last week was actually pretty nice. The week before that was super hot, like temperature and humidity. This week it's really, really humid. I think it's got up in the high 80s, but it's like my shirt is soaked within 5 minutes of being outside. Went from a professional looking studio to a casting couch with dim lights. AI needs more light so it can track you. Elliot said, love those DeWalt Jacks extensions. I have them pre-ordered. Acme says August 10th. That's what it said on mine too, but I got mine this morning. They were dropped off this morning. So that's what it kept saying. I noticed that they shipped it. I got an email saying that they shipped it like a couple days ago. I got an email last week saying something was delivered from Acme Tools, and I got home and I didn't have a package anywhere. And I was like, oh man, it's like now I'm gonna have to mess with that. I usually wait a day and see what happens because sometimes that happens, and then it shows up the next day. But then after I got in there and tracked the thing that it said was delivered to my house, it was these like the pads. But I've had the pads for like probably I ordered them the same time I ordered the extension, but I've had the pads for probably like a month now, sitting in my drawer over here, waiting to get the extension in to make the video because I figured nobody's gonna watch a pad video. So hopefully, even though it said August 10th, because that's what it said on mine last time I got on there and checked, and I ended up getting it, today. So maybe you'll get it a little bit earlier than that. I also ordered the new Klein circuit breaker finder. We've got flood warnings since Monday. We're supposed to get storms tonight, which ain't gonna hurt my feelings. It might cool it down a little bit. I want the Klein jacks. I hope the DeWalt accessories fit. I'm sure they won't. Somebody commented before I came out here, I can't remember what his name was, and said that the stuff fits on the Irwin, but not on the Klein. But I don't know. I didn't look in detail at what the comment said specifically because he said they have the same footprint. So maybe these do for sure. He said basically the Irwin and the DeWalt are basically the same except for the levers backwards is what he said in his comment. So theoretically they should fit. I was hoping a long time ago, back when Project Pine Hills, I think Last Best Tools got a video for the Klein jacks too. I thought, well, surely they're going to send me some too, but I didn't get any. So, and I don't normally ask them for stuff. They just send stuff. Every now and then I'll email them if there's something specific that I'm wanting to try that's maybe older or something like that. If I want something specific, but then sometimes if I can buy it, I just go buy it. But I was hoping I was going to get some of them jacks because it's not something because I've already bought two DeWalt ones for the $100 a piece or whatever. It's like I'm not going to go buy two Klein ones just to try out Klein ones, but I wouldn't mind having them. And I was hoping I was going to get them just specifically for that question because I knew that that would be a good thing for people to know. If this thing, once I got it, is it going to work with the Klein or the DeWalt or both or just one? Dealing with a lot of smoke from the atmosphere from Canadian wildfires. See, I didn't even know anything was going on. I don't watch the news like ever, like never. I didn't even know there was wildfires going on in Canada. Klein send Joey a jack. See, they ran the Klein Lowe's deal of the day. They normally don't do that. Don Shop said, yeah, the Klein Connect set that was the SAE Metric Connect M, that was deal of the day for 2 days in a row. Like it because I got on there this morning and I thought they didn't update whenever I was scrolling down through there and I saw it again, but they just had the same stuff twice. I want either Klein or DeWalt the way the handle is like how you could, I wouldn't have it the other way around. Like now that I've had the DeWalt and how much I use the foot, and even if you use your hand, I feel like it's easier to do that than it is to pull up like that. I think I haven't, well, actually, yeah, I had some of the Amazon China versions that was the other way around. I think that way, even if you use it by hand, the jack like this, I've got my other ones over there, is why I'm pointing over there. I think this is better to do this with even than it is to try to do that. But yeah, this is actually really, really nice. Again, soon as I saw it on some like Instagram things like a long time ago. Some of you had shared reels with me. This was back at like one of them trade shows. Somebody was showing it off, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, I've been looking for something to put my lasers on because I carry this in my truck anyways. It'd be different. I also have my third hand with my tripod, but to get that out, to get out a mount and put on it and do all that just to do something real fast, sometimes that's not worth it. You know, you're going to just do something different versus this. I can just walk right in there and set it on something, maybe even the floor, and get it to within 27 inches. I've got worth of play there from whatever I set it on. Surely I can find something in the room that's kind of in that range and then be able to set it on, my laser on there like that. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's exactly what I'm going to do with it. Now, again, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other uses that will come up with it. But as soon as I saw it, that's what my mind went to, was that's going to be my, basically like almost like a tripod, a little small one. I could probably even figure out a way maybe to hook up like if I could figure out a way to put a 1/4-20 mount, which you'd think you should be able to, like somebody ought to be able to use this. So any of you fancy 3D printer engineering types out there, if you could come up with a way to do this and then have a 1/4-20 mount, on here for, be able to put your tripods and stuff on, be able to put your lasers on. And then I could also probably like mount my phone and stuff to it too. So like if I was going to film something, it kind of gives you a little small tripod. I could probably rig up something with a piece of wood and put a 1/4-20 bolt in it, I guess, and then not use this and use the 2x4 thing, put a 1/4-20 something in there and mount something. So I might end up doing something like that too. But it's pretty stable. I even had this one, like especially if I go and get like my smaller Sigmund probably. But I mean, it's going to bounce around while you're lifting it. But as soon as you let go, it's pretty solid. It's real easy to adjust. Real easy to take on and off. Like it's pretty nice. I've got it hooked on something there. I don't know what I got going on. I just said it's real easy to take on and off. It's hung on something though. This might be the one where I got this on backwards. That's why. So that's why this little slot's in there, so you can take it on and off. I had that on backwards. It's got a little spot so that whenever you kick that forward, it goes back in there and lets you take it on and off. I was wondering what that slot was on there for, but there it is. I hadn't hit that yet. One thing about the news is I'm always too busy to look at. I'm the same way. Like the amount of time that I've got free to like watch something, I'm going to watch something that I want to watch. I don't watch stuff, and there's usually not anything. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about any of it anyway. So it's like all you do is get upset whenever you see stuff. I get news from S2 Underground. The hollow nut drivers and ratcheting wrenches were also on sale. Watching the news is usually a waste of time. You would sure know if you were here. We were in the very unhealthy color scheme. Yeah, there was we were somewhere one time, and I don't remember where they were having fires. Maybe it was whenever we went to, I don't remember where we went somewhere one time, and they were having fires that were kind of close by, and I remember the sky being like crazy, and you could even smell it. People have been picking up the rigid Stealth Force. Do your thing. Now you're struggling with the DeWalt swoop in and drop some Klein jacks. Yeah, I wondered what that little. I wondered why they had that on there because I was like, that's not over top. I thought that would make sense if this went over top of that, like so that you could have a bigger base or something. But I was like, why is that little thing in there for? Now I know. I hadn't really taken it off. Well, that's the first time I've had that on backwards, I guess. Yeah, I've got the lights. I've got the windows and the drywall were done, and then I've got two decks on the back burner. One of them, basically, it's not build the decks; it's just redo the decks, like flooring and railing and all that kind of stuff. And one of them, I'll have to go in and add. Might have to do it on both of them. I don't know, but I know I for sure got to go in and add more joist on one of them because they've already actually had composite decking, but they've had it for a very long time. So it was kind of back before people were spacing their stuff a little bit closer. And I think theirs are still on 16s and they've got some, sag between them, even though it's a pretty old deck. It's held up pretty well for however old it is, but so we'll have to go in and probably just add one in between all of them. So then there'll be 8 on centers because that's going to be easier than ripping them out and putting them on 12s because they still want to go back with a composite floor and then they want to change out all the railing to some sort of a metal railing. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. Let's see, what do I got? I hopefully have a couple lasers coming. Still don't have those, but hopefully those are coming. What else do I got coming? I got something else coming. What else do I got coming? I can't think of it. I know there's something else. I'm debating on getting rid of my M12 Air Snake. I have the guys where I worked at, one of the guys was talking to me like he was thinking about maybe getting one. And I was like, I just don't use it as much now in what I do as what I used to. And, I've got my little auger and stuff like that. It's a good tool, but I don't use it that much. So I'm thinking about selling it to them, but they've also got, I'm going to talk to them tomorrow in my old office down there. If you've been watching my videos for a very long time, I had a black Husky toolbox down there that's 24 inches deep, and I really like the top drawer of that. So I might see if they want to trade for that if they're not using it. I don't know if it doesn't look like they're using it, but I don't know if they are or not. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that or not though. I may still just keep my M12 Air Snake because sure enough, as soon as I get rid of it, I'll have something come up where I'll be like, what would be perfect for this? M12 Air Snake. You ordered that storage system for lumber. That's right. Yeah. I had talked to the Flexi mount. I ordered it. I think I already mentioned that though. I think that was last week in the live. I think I actually ordered it that day. I think it was last Thursday. The Flexi mount people, they've got a bunch of shelves and racks that you hang from your garage ceilings. I ordered a rack to go over top of my trailer out there so I can start putting some lumber and stuff on that. That way to be above my trailer. It's kind of a dead space. I can't get up there and put stuff anyways. And it'd just be somewhere where I can put some stuff and get it up off the floor. Don't they make thicker, stiffer synthetic boards now? 8-inch on center is laughable. They still recommend, for the most part, 12 inches is what you normally would do for composite for the most part. But again, I could go rip out everything they got with joist hangers and all that stuff and spend the labor to do all that, or just put something in the middle of all of them. I don't have to necessarily, which we're probably going to do hidden fasteners anyways, but I don't necessarily have to screw it to every single one of those. It just needs to be in there, like the decking. I could still make the decking screws look like they were 16s, but you just need that support to keep it from bowing. What's up, Curtis? Doing housework because she's Cinderella. Before you met your prince, so are you saying you haven't met your prince yet? Love a nice rack. I bought this one, was on sale for $94. Again, FlexiMount reached out to me. They probably have reached out to me 2 or 3 times asking to send me either that, or they've also got one where you can like lower it and raise it. Like I think it's got a crank or something you put on the wall. I don't know. And then you can kind of raise stuff above your car and drop it down. At the time, the first couple of times they messaged me, I only had this building. It was before I did my garage. So then I kind of kept their email, but then they ended up emailing me not too long ago about basically that rack. And I was like, well, I've been thinking about buying one of those anyways. If y'all want to send me one, I'd appreciate it, type of thing. But then they were one of the ones where I didn't like, what they asked me to do, basically. It wasn't that they asked me to do anything wrong. It's just way too much work. I'm not doing it. It's like, we want to see your video before you release it, and we're allowed one edit. Like if you want to, if we don't like something, we can ask you to take it out and then sign papers and all that. I'm just like, dude, it's $100 thing. I'm not doing all that for that. I'll buy it. It's like that turns it into work, and YouTube is not work for me. It's just something I do. Let me look in this drawer. I don't know if I got something else in here or not. I don't think so. I'm behind on HVAC guy videos. I'm behind on every YouTube. Like I said, I haven't watched YouTube. I just watched a Perkins Builder Brothers video before I came out here, and then I was watching some guy catching shrimp out in the middle of somewhere on a very small boat. I'd never seen any of his videos before. It just came up as I got on a kick of watching several people. Most of them were Australian, it seemed like, going out and catching like fish and stuff in the ocean and cooking them and doing all that stuff. So I watched like 2 or 3 videos, and then my whole feed turned into fishing videos. So now I'm sure that's why I got the shrimp guy video. So I was watching a little bit of that before I came out here too. They think they can boss you around, not unless their name's Amanda. Yeah, pretty much if anybody wants me to sign some kind of contract and then do all that, I'm just like, no. Because and again, it's not that most of the time they're not asking you to do anything that you wouldn't do anyways. Like they're not saying you can't say whatever you want to or anything like that. It's just that whole side of it just turns it into a job for me. And it's just, I don't want to sit there and read contracts. I don't want to, think about, oh, the whole time I'm filming something, was there something in there where I can't have something in the background and, just all that kind of stuff. I'm not dealing with that. It's like I come out here the times where I've got a free hour or whatever it is, and I film a video and then I go edit it and I put it up there. And I don't have time to come out here and redo something and, all that kind of stuff. Keeping up with YouTube can feel like a job. Will there be a guest of trade Saturday? Probably not, unless I get home early tomorrow, maybe. But I haven't had time to film anything this week. And again, I still only have, as far as I know, again, I haven't went through my emails to double check. I know there was one person where their photos were messed up whenever I got them through. It was like, it looked like he had a bunch of photos, but I only had like 2 photos, and it was a bunch of those 2 photos. So I emailed him. I haven't never heard anything back. And then the 2, let me look. I can probably actually look at my folder here and see who I've got. Let me see. I know Banana Havoc's one of them. I've got 2 to do reloads for. And then Jason Montgomery's the other one that I've got to reload for. And as far as I know, that's the only 2 I got, unless I go dig in my emails, and I haven't moved some pictures over yet. So I don't have a ton anyways. So that's why I was saying I might just not do any for at least the month of July and see if I get some emails. Although if I don't make any videos, then I may not get any new ones, because sometimes that's when I get new ones, is the day that the video comes out. If it's somebody who's maybe it's their first time catching the Guess the Trades, they send in their stuff. So what's up, Lexi? Shrimp and sardines kind of day. This guy was catching some pretty big shrimp, and they were just throwing nets out by hand. They were in, like I said, they were in a little bitty old boat, like just a little fishing boat doing it by. It was like two guys throwing nets out. I never really seen anybody do it that way. You might be able to do a live on Saturday. Yeah, I might be home this Saturday. Let's all pretty much from last Thursday up until tonight. We've been slammed, from grandbaby coming to building stuff for the VBS and doing all that kind of stuff, and then being at the VBS and then working and everything else. I hadn't had a whole lot of free time, so we're finally able to breathe a little bit. So if I don't do a Guess the Trade, unless for some reason we end up going somewhere Saturday, maybe I'll do a live that afternoon about that time. Because I think if I do it like at the time where I normally do the Guess the Trade, that would be maybe for overseas people and stuff. I don't know what time that would end up making it, but maybe that would not be like super late at night, but it would be the evening for them, to where if they still wanted to join in, they could. Because I know whenever I used to do them on Saturdays, I did them a little early, like I did this last one, so that people could catch it if they live somewhere else where it was a totally different time zone than what I am. Maybe I'll do my truck loadout and new kit configurations. I have some fried veggies left over. I'm thinking of making some rice to go with it. Matt said later. I don't know if did he say he was leaving? I didn't see Matt say he was leaving. Let's see. Still putting in more toilets. What's up, Texas Ray? You did a Saturday live. It was too early for me. I was still at work. You had some handyman stuff to do at our son's house, but not all day Saturday. Well, and then we also probably need to go see the grandbaby. We've been busy to where we haven't even been able to do that, really. Boss laying out your schedule, which I will give it to him. My son bought a bunch of Scrabble letters, but off of Etsy, but they're kind of reversed. It's like a dark, but basically they're hanging them on a wall of their house, but they're blocks with letters, and it's got all their names, like the two kids, and him and his wife's names, and they had it planned out to go out a certain way, and he was wanting me to come over and hang them, but just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But he went ahead and did it himself, so I was pretty proud whenever I saw the picture, the fact that he even attempted it. Matt's drilling locks now. Good morning, Vietnam. What's up, Blood Songs? So Clint did send me, or the Tool Collector 72, which is what I call him in the chat, because that's what y'all see when you look at him, but that's Clint's what I call him. So it always throws me off to say Tool Collector 72, but he sent me these in the mail, and we're going to do a giveaway later of some of them. Or I guess I meant to actually message him today and see if he was cool with me giving them away in a live. So I guess I'm asking him now, but then if he tells you no, then it's going to make him look like a butthole. So I'm assuming you've already seen these. Clint, because I think you said you bought some, sent them to your house. So it's essentially a pack of bits like what you would buy if you were a store and you wanted to put them on the counter and sell them. It's like a pack of some cases of them. So there's 4 cases in total. It looks like it's basically a screwdriver, it says, and security bit set, which the screwdriver in the title means a bit holder. They called it a screwdriver, I guess, but it's a bit holder. But I'm going to keep one of them, and then I'm going to give away 3 of them. But we'll open up one of them and check it out. Adrian Crenard, welcome. I must have missed the name. I'm pretty sure I got it on all messages. Yeah. What's the Adrian Crenard? I'm missing that. No, they don't deserve them. Well, there you go, guys. Looks like I'm set on security bits for a while. I ain't gonna lie to you. I really like this one. Which I don't lie to you anyways, but I'm just saying. I didn't know if this blade, like, I don't know if I've ever had a knife with a, what's it called, a sheep's foot blade or whatever. I really like it, and especially on Romex, like the slicing down the middle. I actually kind of like it better than a Hawkbill. I used it the whole time I did everything in here. But I've been carrying that in my pocket instead of my fastback just for giggles. Now, again, I still hope they come out with the utility blade version just because at some point this is not going to be sharp and I'm not going to have the time to sharpen it or whatever, which I do carry. I've got sharpeners in my truck, but I bought a pack of those Titans given out to employees. Yes, that's why I sent them, was for giveaways. So basically, I'll come up close here. It's probably got like let me see. Yeah, I'll put this up here. Although probably a little harder to go back and pause, but it's a 61-piece set. There's all the bits that are in there. So you got some Torx, some hex, some spanners, square, star, or tamper resistant Torx, and then Torx. Also tamper resistant, hex security, and then just hex, Phillips, posies, and slotteds. And case has got a little bit of rubbery stuff here, kind of nice as far as the feel of it. And then you just pull up, open, snap shut. Let's see if the magnetism transfers. No, it does not. But still a nice set. Quite a bit of bits. Let's see how the bits are marked. That one's not, which that's a quarter, so maybe, yeah. So there's like a 4.5, so they're marked on the side. Like there's a 4. I was gonna say they're not even marked because the very first one I pulled out wasn't marked, but it's that 1/4 inch, like hex, I think. So actually, I guess that's bigger than a 1/4 inch. For some reason, they don't have a mark on that one or that one. 6 is the last one that has a mark. So we'll do something to give those away. I'll come up with some questions and we'll see what we come up with. So I can either just do questions, or we can do questions and then you still have to do the high-low game, whichever y'all prefer. So basically then I ask questions. If you get the question right, you get to play the high-low game. You have to win that to win it. So it's almost like you got to win twice. But then you get more opportunities if somebody misses. Okay, Good Morning Vietnam character was Adrian. Hanging equipment enclosures. One of the screws would not stay on my bit. Got to looking, and it was a stainless steel screw. It just looked like the others in the container. Yeah, that's the only thing bad about working, because I actually buy a lot of stainless steel screws and keep them in my truck because I do a lot of stuff that's outside and stuff. And just I buy exterior grade stuff most of the time, even if it costs me a little bit more money over buying something that's like, I won't buy anything that only works inside because I don't like keeping that in my truck. And then I know myself enough that it's like, oh, I just really need to put one screw in this. Am I going to go to the store and buy a screw? No, I'm just going to use the screw I have probably. Now I might stop back by there sometime when I'm out that way after I get another screw and swap it out if it's something that's easy to get to or all that. But it's like, that's when you end up making poor decisions that you shouldn't make whenever you get into a situation like that. That's why, in my opinion, it's always good to have the right materials and the right tool for the job, because that's how you end up with the best job. Versus if you put yourself in situations where it's I can't really charge the customer for me to drive all the way to the store to go buy 2 exterior screws here, type of thing, but I also don't have time to go do it, then that's when you do something you shouldn't do. It came out of the same container that you bought. Jeff sent me a Titan set, and then I bought some for Joey's for the giveaway, but forgot to change the address. What's up, Sadalgo? Even if I get question correct, go to the next person. I like to play. So the first question is everybody ready? What is the part number for the new Klein GFCI digital circuit breaker finder? We'll see how much you watch the videos and pay attention to the thumbnails. And make sure you're on all comments. It's the first one. Matt says ET350. TPG says ET350. PHX Nissan 14 says ET450. What's up, Jeremy Dunlap? And it is, I picked this because then I can show it to you to prove that it's right. ET350. Matt even said it wrong and then said it right, and was still the first one. So ET350. So one's going to Matt HMM. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. Goes to the second person. I'm good. Well, that's TPG. The other was the ET310. Now it's the ET350. Yeah, and the ET450 that Nissan said, that's the advanced like circuit breaker finder, the one that you can use. I had that in my video too, but it was that's the one where you can actually check whether you have power or whether you don't. He's ignoring you, Matt. I just now saw it, so it'll be TPG then, is the second one. And if TPG doesn't want it, then I'm keeping it. I'll have 2. So I'm going to change it from Matt to TPG. Here's one that'll be a little bit harder. What is the part number for the DeWalt lifting jack extension? That's question number 2. Nissan's got the older version. I like the older versions, work good for me. Now, I had several comments on the older version that said theirs was hit and miss. This newer version, in my opinion, again, I've only used it very little, but I like it. I like the process of it. I like everything about it. It's pretty good. No clue. Mr. Burgundy says DWHT 83554. Lance Anderson says 38456. Nissan says DWHT 83550. I have to look it back. It's a long one. Actually, I'm gonna look at and see if I think I got the packaging in my trash over here. It'd be easier than to try to find it on that. Let's see. It's DeWalt, so I know nothing. So it is DWHT 83554, which I think was what Mr. Burgundy said. I'm pretty sure. Let me look again. 83554. Yep. So Mr. Burgundy. And if you win, send me an email with where it needs to go, because it's easier for me to just have you send me a new, even if I've sent you something before, than for me to search through and find it. Just send me, and plus, who knows, your address may have changed since the last time if I sent you anything. Mr. Burgundy 9252. Just had that video on before this one. I don't think I own any DeWalt other than a tape measure. Let's see. What do I? So I've got I don't have any DeWalt batteries. I do have a DeWalt 20-volt oscillating tool. I've got the DeWalt Grabo. I do have some tape measures. And then I've got the Lipton jacks. And then the only other thing I can think of that I've got that's DeWalt is the little accessory that you put in your impact that's shear. And then I also bought, because they were on clearance a long time ago, I want to say, yeah, I got this one too, like the plumbing cutter, the PVC cutter, because I sold my M12 PVC cutter because I just didn't use it that much either, to a plumbing friend of mine that was using it from me quite often. I'm just like, I'm just going to sell this to you because you need it more than I do. And because normally I'm only dealing with like 3/4, 1/2 inch. So I just use the little cutters, the ratcheting cutters. But I found this on, like, I think I was in a town north of us and went in there and they had like all these things on clearance, the copper cutter, this, and the shear that I already own. So I went ahead and bought this, and this works just as good as my M12 one does too. It's just a little bit more awkward to use, I guess, but it still works pretty good. But that's the only DeWalt stuff I've got that I can think of. I don't own a lot of DeWalt stuff. Now, back in the 18-volt days, I had a lot of DeWalt tools. Oh, you meant the extension. Oh, yeah, you might have been doing the, that might be what the jacks, I don't know what the part number is on that. I'd have to see if it's on here somewhere. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, 83550. That's what you were saying was the jack. What's up, Joey Holloway? Some of the DeWalt bits are pretty good. Yeah, now I do have a ton of DeWalt bits. I've got more DeWalt bits than I've got anything else, because I had bought these cases like this, and the DeWalt locking bit extensions. I've got more of them than I've got anything else too, but I've got bits galore. of DeWalt, because I used to buy the Black Friday. They had the kits with all these things in them, and there for the longest time I was buying them just to get these cases, and then also I wanted these cases to put inside of them to keep them separate and stuff. And so I was buying the cases just to get the cases, buying all the kits, and then I've got just bags full of extra DeWalt bits. Planer, yeah, I do have. Amanda said I got a DeWalt planer. I do have a DeWalt like 13-inch planer. I don't have the fancy one where you can put in the helix heads and stuff in it. I've just got the regular cheaper one. I actually used to use it a bunch, but I very rarely use it anymore. I only have about 4 DeWalt tools. So now I got to think up something. Those are the 2 latest videos. So now I got to actually think of something different for the last question. Which we got some time. I'll ponder on it. I gave DeWalt bits and the pipe cut. I have DeWalt bits and the pipe cutter attachment. Those are the little metal shear thing that you put in your impact. I've used it quite a bit. It works pretty good for like thin metal and stuff like that. I keep that one in my truck actually because I run into stuff where I need to use it pretty often. Like that pipe cutter right there, I'm gonna know if I'm gonna get into something where I'm gonna use that, because it's like I really only use that for the 1.5 inch. Like if I'm gonna go redo but even then I've got rationing cutters that will do 2-inch PVC, so that's why I just didn't. It wasn't worth me carrying my M12 one in my truck whenever I can fit a rationing cutter, and the very few times I need to cut 1.5 inch or 2-inch, I'm not cutting it all day long, so I don't care to just use a rationing cutter. And then I just use that same rationing cutter on my 1/2 inch stuff and 3/4 stuff, which is what I normally would run into. Ask Amanda to visit with the last question. Might have to see if she can come up with the last question. I could make it about my VBS class and see if any of you watched my VBS class. It's hard to, I keep thinking that it's early in the week as far as my work week for some reason. I think, but tomorrow's Friday, so it's pretty sweet. Anyone try to fit the 30mm vessel bits in the Vera multi screwdriver? 30mm. So like a multi screwdriver like this. I don't know if I got a vessel bit up here handy or not. So it would be basically if a vessel will fit in a Vera wrap adapter would be what it is. That one's not locking. Well, yeah, that's not locking in that one. So I don't think I think that might be 13mm. I don't know if it's 30 or 13 or whatever it is, but it doesn't lock. I think that's basically what that is. Let me try yeah, that side doesn't either. I don't have any that's got just all my vessel bits I think are double-sided. So I don't have any that's just got the standard one end on it, I don't think. I should have, but I don't remember. I don't know where it would be at, because I should have like that yellow, the one that comes with some of the vessel electric screwdrivers, the one with the yellow shaft. I've got one of those somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know where it is. Might would be in here if I got one, actually. Nope. Yeah, I see that. I think this one's an annex, but it's a double-sided too. also cannot find my Crom. I needed them today, and I could have swore they were in my truck. But then I remember seeing them somewhere. I looked around my truck like crazy. My nail punches. Actually, I know where they are now. Now that I just said that, I know exactly where they are. Right here. Yeah. Just came to me what I did with them and where I saw them. I needed these today, but my buddy had 2 punches, so I used one of his. But I really like this one. It holds the nail in there, like there's like a little rubber gasket, and it holds it, and it's got a stop. At the time I reviewed this in the tool haul of like Crom stuff, I hadn't really used it much. I just used it just to get an idea of how it worked as far as for filming a video. But I really like this one. This one's the kind like he's got 2 of them that are probably Malco brand or something, and both of his are like this. And I really like this one. But I'm going to put these actually in my truck because, or I'm at least going to put this one in my truck. I'm going to leave this one with my nails. I looked for that for 20 minutes today in my truck. I could have swore I had it in my truck. Is there going to be a guest to trade this weekend? Probably not, but if I so happen to get home early tomorrow, and again, it's going to be a reload if it is, but if I have time, I will tomorrow. Because I've only got 2 reloads left. So if anybody hadn't sent in pictures, if you've not done it yet and you've been thinking about it, go ahead and send in some. No, the 1-inch bits are 25 millimeter. Wondering if the 30 millimeter bits will fit in the in the handle storage. Yeah, I don't have any vessel. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, I don't have any vessel bits like that. I don't think. Do I? What are these? No, those were wit. Yeah, I don't think I've got any vessel bits like that. I was thinking I got some with a ratchet or something one time in a little sleeve, but maybe not. Have you tried out the Diamondback tool belt setups? No, I did buy a Diamondback. I've got 2 Diamondback pouches. I bought I've got the Mazo and the Mini Nico. Yeah, you can see that up there. I like them. I like them for like job stuff, like framing and stuff like that. Like they're bigger. They're a little bit too big for me and stiff. I prefer the Vito pouches. I prefer the Atlas pouches, like the small ones over that. Like I'd rather have the Atlas ones. And now they're newer ones that have the clips. I probably would like better. That's another thing I don't like about those is that it's that Velcro system, because I didn't like the Atlas pouches that were that way too. Like I don't like that. I like to move my stuff around a lot, and I don't like that. But the new Diamondback ones, the X pouches or whatever, they've got clips, so I would like those maybe a little bit better than maybe the older version ones. I do have the 9.6 volt. Oh, I do have the DeWalt gyroscopic screwdriver too. That stays in my vest that Matt HMM sent me a long time ago. .30 millimeter means longer 1-inch ones. Speaking of your truck, what did they find out about your brakes? So they ended up, it was something to do with ABS module or something or other. That it only ended up costing me $150, whatever it was. They did some, they basically went over the whole system. Whatever they did fixed it, but it was something to do with resetting something and something else. But it wasn't like something major, which I'd already changed out I had changed out both calipers. I had changed out the brake pads. I went ahead and bought 2 rotors while I had it all off and went ahead and put them on too. So everything was new up there. So whatever it was something like computerish that had to be done. But so far so good. Like I got it back on Monday. So I had dropped it off on Friday afternoon, I guess, or Thursday. I don't remember. I guess it was Friday. No, yeah, Friday. So they didn't look at it till Monday though. So I dropped it off Friday because I was in town and it was messed up, and then I got it back Monday. Vessel ratcheting ball grip or that ratchet. Yeah, my vessel ratcheting ball grip was the only one. I don't have the one that holds bits. I've only got the one that does the dedicated. I only bought like a slotted and a Phillips. So if it came with a bit, I didn't have that one if it came with a bit. But I thought that this little ratchet there that came with those little mini sockets, I was thinking it also came with some little bits, but I don't know where they are. Like this little dude here. And I know I don't have any of those vessel like torsion, ball deals or whatever. Let me look in this little drawer real fast. Because sometimes I throw those things like that down in here. Let's see what this is. What brand's this? This is Vessel. So a regular 1-inch bit is, let's see, that. But this is the same as my DeWalt though. So this is the only Vessel ones I probably got, because this came with the ratchet. So this is Vessel, because it says Vessel on there. But those are the same size as my DeWalt, so they're the same length, I guess, as the DeWalt ones. So these must not be long as like a torsion one or something is. And these are the ones that came with that little ratchet, because it's the same kind of setup. Flux X for sure, and Euro. DeWalt should make a Grabo attachment for their lifting jack. Not sure why, but I'm sure someone would use it. Maybe installing tile on walls. Yeah, it wouldn't be, because there's times where it would be nice to be able to, which you can put if you really, really need to, but you wouldn't be able to in that situation without damaging something. But you can use it and like put screws on something, like to pry something away from something if you really, really need to. Like there's screw holes in there. I've actually used these screw holes on this a couple times to hold something and lift it up and just make sure it wouldn't come off. But you can also do it with those. And I've used these before too. I actually used these while I was putting the siding on the garage. Me and Amanda screwed this to a thing I made to be able to mount it to the side of the wall and kind of lift my siding up, my sheets, as I was putting them on there to make it a little bit easier so we could kind of level everything out right. But yeah, there are some times where, like, if you could suction cup something like that, would be a good thing. Hex drill bit stuck in the impact chuck. Feel like I have sand in my eyes. We'll see you, Lexi. Hopefully it clears out. I bought a Vessel screwdriver to try after your recommendation and love it. Want to try their bits and thought it might be sweet if they'd fit in the Varamulti. Yeah, I don't have very many of their bits, like, because most of my screwdrivers of theirs I buy are the dedicated ones, like already they're just a Phillips and a slotted, because I like the tang through ones the most. But I haven't bought, and I don't buy bits generally. Like, I only get them if they come with something, because I've got so many DeWalt bits. I mean, like I said, I've got enough bits to last me the rest of my life. The only time I usually will buy bits is if it's like I want the case, or maybe I need some hex bits or something, or like the railers. Whenever I bought those came with bits, because again, that's because I wanted the railers. I didn't necessarily care if I got the bits or not. So I haven't bought any like bit sets just because I needed some bits to try out specific ones. Mm, 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 mm. Mm-mm. I know there's something else I've got coming. I was trying to think of what, besides like this was on my mind if I had it coming, but there's something else besides. I know I've got hopefully a couple lasers coming. One of them I've got coming because I've wanted it for a very long time, and I think I've got it coming. And then the other one I've got coming because it's a cheaper version of one of them that I like on Amazon that I think would be a good fit for like I'll try them if they email me and say they got this version, a newer version of a something that comes out. Like I want to try it mostly so I can show you guys what the difference is between it and maybe the next one that's more expensive. So again, you can decide at that point the more expensive one's better for me or this cheaper one's better for me. So I went ahead and said it was okay for them to send me one of those. It's a 4 plane, I think. But I know there's something else, and besides the lumber rack thing, but I can't think of it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Yeah, every now and then stuff gets hung up in your collets and stuff, especially, and it seems like drill bits actually do it more so than a bit does. And usually you gotta bang them on something to break something free. It's like that ball gets stuck or something. I made a mistake of using a spade bit and the Vera adapter and the end snapped off. It lives there now. One of my Klein extensions, the locking extensions, I've got a spade bit in mine, and it ended up. I mean, I barely got it out of like it about broke my arm off in the drill. Like I mean, it snagged on something. I mean, whipped my drill around, about hit me in the face, and it lives in there. Like I can't get it out. It's in there, which it's normally the one. It didn't bend the spade bit, and it didn't bend the Klein locking bit holder. Like it's the one where you actually like spin the thing up and lock it, not a locking like pull it back and forth. But that bit will not come out of there. I've tried multiple things, but it's the one I use to drill holes for like to run MC cable or Romex or something up through a top plate or something like that to run fish wire down the wall. And I normally use it in that extension. So as until that bit gets dull, I'm just going to keep using it. It's going to live in there, but it lives in there. I'm swapping over to water. I sweated so much the last 2 days I cannot get caught up on my thirst. When you're gonna take the ET 350 into the wild, I normally have it. I've had it in my truck. I brought it in here in case somebody had some questions. Usually, whenever I do a live, if I've reviewed something in the last little bit, I go ahead and bring that in here anyways, just in case somebody asks something about it. But it's for sure going to be the one that I'm going to use out of because I was back and forth. I would use my ET310, and then I started using that Kaiweets one that had the digital GFCI just because I was able to have both of those in my bag, and instead of carrying the old one and a digital GFCI tester, because I much prefer like this tester just for a plug tester than your standard one, even though it takes batteries and sometimes those are dead or whatever. But I much prefer this. Like it's so much better. And this is pretty nice. Like I really like it so far. Again, I've only used it a couple times, but it's the one that's going to be in my truck for sure. I don't know that I'll use the case. Now, Project Pine Hills had a really good video on it. Like he got his the same day I got mine. I just didn't have time to make any kind of video like early on because I was busy. But it doesn't fit in there like that, so you have to keep it separate. Which his video got like crazy. Sometimes, man, some of his videos he'll get like 70, 80,000 views on them. I'm like, what'd you do to get that? I think the last time I looked at his, it had like 70,000 views or something like that, which is a very good video. That's why I didn't really show the Kaiweets one or anything in my video, because I knew his video was already out there and a lot of people had already watched it. So y'all already had all that information. I was mostly just throwing it out there to show people who maybe didn't see any of the other videos that are subscribed to me. Just got back in from using the M12 cutoff tool to clip the points off some stainless steel license plate screws. One of the handiest tools for that sort of thing. I like mine. I've used it for tile quite a few times just because I need to go cut like one or two tile. And if it's up against a wall where I might be putting base over it, I don't care if it like isn't perfect or whatever. I've used it instead of getting my grinder out. I've used it before 2 or 3 times. What's up? I'm just going to call you Loco Banana. I use the Kaiweets I won from you a few times now, and I like it. I didn't have another option though. It's pretty good. It's been pretty good for me. It and the 310 both have performed pretty much about the same. I do like how this one's got the locate and then learn like separate. Now the Kaiweets one says learn on it, and it just times out eventually. So like, but sometimes you might not make it through a whole panel by the like depends on how big the panel is before that learn stuff's done, and it swaps over to locate. And then the Klein ET310 just doesn't really tell you anything. It just you just assume that it's going to swap over or do whatever. Which really I don't know that the Klein ET310 really has a. I know it does the learning and then also the locating, but that's why the Klein ET310, it still beeps like red whenever you're going through the learn process. So I don't know if it even really does like a shift per se, or it's just always in the locate mode and learning mode, and you're going through it just tells you to go through the whole panel as part of the learning process. And then it kind of narrows it down a little bit more. I don't know exactly how it works for sure, because you don't have the screen, telling you something, but I like how this one, whatever I did want to do, put it in that bag. Yeah. While you're on the learn, it doesn't even beep red to act like you're looking for, a circuit. I like that. The NCV is probably going to be nice too. I mean, I've usually always, if I've got this, I'm normally carrying my pouch with a non-contact voltage tester. So that's not really a big selling point for me. But if you've got this on you, and maybe you've got this in your 11-in-1 screwdriver, you flip off a breaker, and if you've got the panel open, you could obviously double check and make sure and see some things with that as well. So it's kind of nice. It's on there, I guess. I don't know how much I'll end up using that aspect of it. I guess it's one of those things. It's better to have it than to not have it. It doesn't hurt anything. It's not like it made the tool bigger. Well, there's Project Pine Hills. I'd like to know if yours reads the voltage lower than the RT250 as well. I got to put some batteries in this one, because in all honesty, that's why I didn't show the screen difference on mine, because whenever I went to turn this one on, the battery was dead. Because this one's the one I've got one of these I keep in my truck, and this one's been in my garage for a long time out here. Let me get some batteries. I'll plug it in something here and we'll see. See, the screw comes out of this one. You can lose it. But this one did still have the original batteries in it, so it's lasted for a while. Which what I'll probably do, this will make TPG happy anyways. Actually, no, mine are all double A's, my lithium ion ones. I was gonna say I'll change out my batteries in my one I'm putting in the truck with. Well, I may have lied to you. I may not have AAA. Oh, here we go. 1, 2. I got everything in that drawer right there. See, Project Pine Hills is a little bit more savvy about the internet stuff than what I am. He's a smarter IT-ish type. He probably knows something about the algorithms and all that stuff. To get 70,000 views. All right. No. I'm gonna put them in wrong, or is this one not working? Which actually, I think if you plug these in without the let's see, even if you don't have battery, it might come on. I think I got some crud on this. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So those one batteries might not even been dead. I had some crud on there. No, so this has been sitting out here for a while. So we're at 0.00. Guess I'll go over here to this. I'll see if I can get over there to you before it resets itself. 117. So I'm going to pull it out and bring it to you. 117. $113. Let me plug that one right below it at the same time. 117. So 113, 117. So was yours, you said one of them was lower. Which one did you have that was lower? I couldn't remember. That one didn't come on whenever I plugged it in there a second ago. Usually, normally it's always came on. Oh, it did that time. I don't know what was up with that. If yours reads the voltage lower, so yeah, mine was lower. It was 113 and the other one was 117. Like the RT 250 was 117. M12 cutoff. I was at the end of the day and grabbed a bunch of tools to carry to the van. Somehow I triggered the cutoff tool and sliced my thumb really good. Be careful, easy to trigger. We need to get a project farm up in here. Project Pine Hills doesn't show his face, Joey. He keeps the mystery. Yeah, that's what it is. People. He gets views because he doesn't double thumbs up his fans. I always take the batteries out of those sort of things. I've lost several electronic tools from the batteries leaking and eating battery springs and stuff. Yeah, normally I put like if it's something I'm gonna leave in my truck all the time and I use really, really often, like I don't like taking the batteries out because I use them often enough that it'd be a big pain. But I normally do put in the lithium ions, but I only have double A's. I'm going to get some triple A ones. I normally put in like the ultimate lithiums or something like that. Now, if I have them in like my ET450 is in a pack out case, I swapped it whenever I had it in my bag. I kept the batteries in it, but now that I've got it in a pack out case, I take the batteries out and just leave the cover open. That way I'm not having to do that every time. And then I'd take them and put them inside the case with it. And that's not that big a deal for me to do that because that is something I don't use like super, super often. Which one's correct, 250 or 350? I'm fine with either one of them. There's nothing in my life that 4 volts makes that big a difference. Yeah, I haven't decided if I prefer. Maybe it's because I only use this pretty much indoors, but I guess maybe I can read the darker screen a little bit better than the brighter screen. I guess. Possibly. I probably might use, I assume maybe somebody smarter than me probably knows. I assume maybe that one probably might use less battery, that kind of screen with the darker than the lighter. That would be my assumption, but I could be totally wrong with that. But I think it is a little easier to read that one. It is a little bit thicker. Of a the newer one is a little bit thicker. So in case I was far enough away, so here's the new screen, and there's the old screen. I think that one is a little easier to read. With all the battery technologies, why can't they make a rechargeable multimeter? Always dead batteries. Will that allow the location of the correct breaker? Yes, this one does. So basically, they moved like the older version of the Klein had just your standard tester here with the 2 lights, and then it told you what the 2 lights meant, or the 3 lights, really, I guess. This one's got that digital tester, but this one's also your transmitter. So you basically plug this in your receptacle and then turn this on and go through the process of, locating your breakers and all that kind of stuff. So you go through the learn mode, and then you swap over to locate, and it will find the breaker in the panel that this is sending the signal to. You do have to have power, though. That's the big thing with all these like this. You have to go up to the 450 if you've got something that doesn't have power that you need to find, what's going on with that. There for the longest time, I used my Fluke toner. I've got a Fluke toner that's more for networking and stuff like that. But the times whenever I didn't have power, I would hook up to that and then use that to send a signal and find it. But then you get into, you can't turn the power back on while you got that hooked up. So that's why I kind of like the Klein, because I can mess with the power, hook it back up. If I find something loose, I can put it together and leave it hooked up, and it's not going to damage anything. Whereas my Fluke's not really made for voltage, it's made for, network cables and stuff like that. Can you use the Klein GFCI tester with the new breaker meter? This one doesn't. The old version here doesn't have it doesn't have a transmitter in it, so it's never sending a signal. Now in Project Pine Hills video, you can use like any of the systems, like the Kaiweets, the this or the old model transmitter are all like are interchangeable with one another. So you can do that. But this right here doesn't send us, it's not a transmitter, it's just a tester. We'll see you, Jeremy. I still got 2 more lights, but I'm going to keep them as spares. I don't think I need them. I almost put more whenever I first put them up. I was like, well, I could put another row right here. I've got enough to make another row. That way this side's really, really lit up. But then I'm like, after I put them up, I was like, no, I definitely don't need them. Because right now I've only got 2 lights on. I'm crank them all on. Boom. It gets super bright in here. And then that one's probably my brightest altogether. I bought these on sale at Home Depot for like $30 a piece. They're like high bay. I don't remember what the lumens is on them, but I bought like 6 or 8 of them for like $30 a piece. I put 2 of them together. Like I put a piece of angle iron up there and put those 2 together. And then I sold the other 4 and paid for all of them and some. So basically I got those for free and then made a little bit of money. Compared to what the T6 1000 reads, the ET350 reads about 7 volts lower. In the video, you can see mine reads much lower than the RT250 as well. Basically, anytime I'm plugging that in, I'm just seeing if it's somewhere around, 115, which usually if you've got correct showing up, you're going to be somewhere around that. Like it's somewhere around 113. Sometimes I'll see 120, sometimes 117. It's usually somewhere in that ballpark of 115. And then sometimes if you've got an open neutral, it'll show like 50 something a lot of times. But then of course it's also going to tell you, open neutral usually. My fluke toner I got now was given to me. Yeah, mine works really good. Like I've used it for a long time, tracing stuff. Like I've used it a lot. That's probably the tracer I've used for everything for years. But again, you have to have power off, so it doesn't work on circuits that have power. That's why I like the Klein, because sometimes I want to trace stuff that has power, and then sometimes I want to trace stuff that doesn't, and I can just hook that up and do either one of them, and I don't have to worry about if I turn power on or if I lose it or whatever. What's up, vegan? You still doing the door dashing? I thought about you, vegan. I saw a meme that said, I was starting to think that I was going to start eating healthy, and then my lettuce said it was going to give me violent diarrhea for a month, and then I looked in the pantry and my Oreo cookie said to me, I would never do that to you. Oh, appreciate that, vegan. Anybody know anybody that's got the explosive diarrhea from your lettuce? I'd heard originally it was from pork, and then now they're saying it was lettuce. Taco Bell. Oh man, I saw another meme about Taco Bell. What did I see about that? It was the outside of the building. I don't remember what I saw about that. Yeah, they had. I think Amanda just saw something before I came out here too that said that it was a little short video or something rather about how people who had gotten a hold of this lettuce had lost. It was so explosive that they had lost like 10 pounds in the last few days or whatever. And then it went to a clip of some people, some fat people licking lettuce. I'm vegetarian because I hate plants. I don't know a whole lot about what's going on with all that. I've just the only thing I know, my only news that I get are memes, and then it's kind of fill in the blanks of what I think that they're talking about by seeing memes or little shorts or whatever it is. That's the news I get. So I've gotten the gist of there's something out there that's causing violent diarrhea. Lettuce lickers. Yeah, so far so good on my brakes. I'm glad. I thought it was gonna be something crazy expensive or something bad. And I took it to someplace new. I'd never taken which they're kind of new in my town. They haven't been around for very long, and I'd heard a few good things from a couple people, but they'd only gotten like oil changes and tire rotations and stuff like that. Nobody that's actually had their vehicle worked on. But it was a pretty nice shop, so they were nice and seemed pretty fair. How's Miss Morgan? Nice seeing you live. She's doing good. She's in there. She said she was in there doing household chores since she's Cinderella, hadn't met her prince yet. I just had a colonoscopy, so let's talk more about diarrhea. I've never had one of those yet. I'm probably at the age where I'm supposed to have one, but I still haven't had one. I need an idea for a 6-letter car tag. You ever going to get a video out on that other Atlas pouch? I know it. I need to get to where I'm using it's what I need to. It's still sitting over here in my drawer. I don't want to make a video till I've used it some. I've been meaning, I'm going to swap out my MP2 stuff into it, I think, and run it for a little while. I saw that you put out, I haven't watched it yet, Jeff, but I did see where you put out a video about it. Which you've been running yours for a long time. I've been eating entire heads of lettuce every day. Explosive bowel movements would be worth it to get a few days off. Man, today, whenever I got home, Amanda picked up some garden tomatoes from her mom and dad whenever she was over there at their house one day this week, I guess. And then she stopped and picked me up some bologna and some bread. So I made myself a bologna and garden tomato and Miracle Whip sandwich today for dinner. It's about as good as it gets. Up to 32 subscribers. My long-time mechanic's retiring, so I got to find a new one. Yeah, see, I used to go to a guy. I went to him for years and took Amanda's cars there, and he was a guy by himself. He had his own shop, but always did really good work. Was always really fair, and I knew if he told me something was wrong, I knew that that's what was wrong with it. Like he wasn't the kind of try to upsell you or do anything like that. And he would just fix whatever needed to be fixed. And he ended up like retiring at some point in time, and then I had to start going to different places. But man, it was nice whenever I had him. Fried bologna sandwich. I actually like mine just regular. Now Amanda likes fried bologna. I like mine just out of the package. The Nuke Stealth Force is out. Yeah, I don't usually buy very many new power tools that are in different brands just to buy them. Like I don't buy them to review them anyways. Now, if they so happen to have a tool that nobody else had, I might would buy something like that. But I don't do a lot of reviewing power tools unless they're just what I buy. I don't do a lot of that testing back and forth with different ones and all that kind of stuff. That's not me. I don't care if my impact puts something in 2 seconds faster than something else, especially if it's a 12-inch lag. I can count on two hands the times I put, or one hand the amount of times I put in a 12-inch lag. Fried egg sandwiches, those are good too. I don't like bologna. Ate it way too much when I was a kid. I probably did too. I ate a lot of. I remember eating a lot of lunch meat whenever I was a kid, just in general. The ham and cheese loaf. Any of y'all eat that with the ham with the little pieces of cheese actually in it? Not a ham and cheese sandwich, but the ham and cheese loaf. I remember that a lot, and then bologna a lot, which I really like bologna. I like pretty much most lunch meat though. I like ham, turkey. There's not a lot of it I don't like. Pickle loaf. No, I don't. I probably would like it. I've really never have honestly ate it, but I don't like it because I used to have to slice meat whenever I was in high school. I worked at a little store where I did all sorts of things, and I think I actually mentioned that one time during the live. But I hated slicing that pickle loaf. It made a mess. That and the liver loaf. I smoke bologna. There's a guy that Amanda works with that smokes bologna. He usually does, like, if they do some sort of a meal thing at there where it's like a potluck type of thing. That's what he will normally do that sometimes. And then she's brought me some home. I smoke bologna, then slice and fry and put an egg on it. Life changing, but I'm fat. Don't listen to me. Your doctor will be mad. I was wanting to give the Walmart Hyper Tough 12-volt tools a try just to carry it back for my backup. Let me know if you want to see some reviews, Morgan. Yeah, there's quite a few people. I think I know Matt's got some Hyper Tough stuff. I think 12-volt, and I'm pretty sure Carlos has got quite a few of it. Send me it if you're not going to use it, Joey. Oh, the pouch, the Atlas pouch. I'm going to use it for sure. I just hadn't had time. And all my jobs in the last probably month or so have been like construction-y type job. I haven't done a lot of service work in the last little bit, which I didn't really try to schedule anything, which worked out good with my truck being messed up last week or anything with service work or anything like that. I've got a few things that I've got to go do, like changing some codes on some locks and a couple things like that. But I haven't, like, none of it's been have to do it. And so I haven't actually been using like my hand tools as much in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I've mostly been using like impacts and sawzalls and drills and all that kind of stuff. 28 Connect kit back on sale. Yeah, they did it 2 days in a row. Because whenever I got up this morning and got on Lowe's, the deal of the day, I thought they hadn't updated it yet after I scrolled down and saw that. My bologna as a first name is no, 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 no. I like bologna. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite lunch meats. I must have missed it. What ended up being the issue with your truck? It was some sort of thing in the computer system of the brakes. They had to reset and do some stuff, but ultimately they didn't end up doing any work on my actual. If they did, they might have done some bleeding or something like that after the fact. But it was only they only charged me for basically like a advanced brake inspection. ABS calibration. Yep. I got a little Hyper Tough 12-volt impact in a bag. I like it. It's not the most powerful, but good for $50. 12-inch lag with the Vessel USB. Yeah, I'm putting in the majority of my work is a 3-inch deck screw or 2.5-inch deck screw or drywall screws or, or just machine screws and stuff, which normally I would do those even with my vessel. I do pretty much if it's a machine screw, like a door lock or something like that, I'm either doing that by hand anyways. I don't like using an impact on that kind of stuff, or I use my vessel USB because then I can start it and make sure it's threaded right and then hit the button and go with it. But so every impact I've ever used in my life does every screw that I normally do on a day-to-day basis just fine. Like there's not a big enough difference for me to be like, oh, I'm going to buy this brand of this tool and carry batteries with me of that and all that because it's such a drastic difference. Now I will say the Surge is which it just so happens I'm in Milwaukee. It's worth it to me to have the Surge because I just like it. It's just a total different thing. Matter of fact, I don't even really like other impacts. I've not tried any of the other versions now of like DeWalt's got something like it. I know Rigid's got something like it. I haven't tried those, but that's because I'm already in Milwaukee. So if they've got their option of it, I'm just going to keep using it. They had other client stuff on sale also today if you deep dive. My M12 Impact is my most used power tool. I was going to say the Surge is the way to go. I resisted a while, but once I tried it, wow. Yeah, it's I said it's not just the sound, it's the way the screws go in. It's just a total different feel. I feel like you got way more control with it. It's just a better experience all over. Like again, I'm sure the other brands of the hydraulic drivers work the same and they're probably just as good. But at the time, whenever I bought the Surge, my M12 one, I don't know if there was any other ones out there. If there were, I didn't know about them. I used my Bauer blower and Hercules heat gun to do fire alarm inspections yesterday. I really like my Wolf boxes. I use them like crazy. This thing I still use every now and then, but it is so loud that I don't like using it, but I will use it. But I use my little Bosch. I've got a Bosch, this cheap 18-volt blower that I put a M18 battery in. It's like the small, like Milwaukee's got one, DeWalt's got one, like the small, just your standard 18-volt, 20-volt blower. I keep that in the back of my truck. I use it more than probably any of them just because it fits in my truck better than like the Milwaukee bigger blower. It takes up way too much room. But I don't mind this one, but it is a little loud. Like I don't mind this one if I'm outside, like blowing off my table saws and stuff. That's when I use this one, but I don't like using it like inside. It's a little bit too loud. But it's still worth buying this, like just for all the attachments and stuff. If you've got the Makita, it's probably the cheaper than buying all that stuff because I think they work together. 3/8 or 1/4 inch connect set. I feel everything to do 1/4 inch works. Go 1/4 inch less weight. Am I missing something? There's very few size differences that you're going to get. Like the sizes are almost identical. I think you get like a couple more bigger sizes on the 3/8 set, and then I'm not even sure that you don't get all the small sizes, but I think maybe the 3/8 might have like one more big size. But the sockets are actually pretty close to the same set, so there's very little difference. So it mostly would depend on that. If the high end socket of a 3/8 set, like the biggest one, if that's the one you so happen to use all the time, then you got to figure that out for yourself. But if you don't really use those that often, for the most part, they're all the same sockets. The biggest difference is going to be the size of the ratchet and the size of the screwdriver and all that. Like the other ones are a lot bigger. Like the ratchet's bigger. So are you somebody who wants more leverage with your sockets more often, or are you somebody who wants a little small one to stick in places more often? Again, just depends on what it is you do. I actually keep both of them in my truck right now because just for more so the ratchets, even though you could also get, they sell the 3/8 ratchet by itself, and then you can also get that adapter that goes from M to S and carry a bigger ratchet with you in case you want a bigger ratchet, and then you still have most of the sizes. But again, if you need the biggest sizes, the 3/8 would be what you'd want to get. I don't have it. They're both out there in my truck, so I don't know off the top of my head what the difference on the sizes are. I don't know what I got in here. Yeah, those are all out in my truck. All I've got is the 1/4 inch size ratchets in here. Yeah, so at some point in the garage, I've got to go around. I'm going to side the top part of that up there, and then I'm going to side everything that's the white plastic on this side, basically this wall, and then I got to go around and fill in, which you can barely see some of the plastic folding down up there. Basically put something from my pickets up to my ceiling and fill that in. But that's all stuff that I'm probably gonna. I've got some siding out there that, like what I've got on my ceiling, I'm gonna cut that into strips and make my own siding because I need to get rid of it anyways. So that's what I'm probably gonna use on the sides, and then the rest of it I'll just figure out what I've got out there, what I can use, and not have to, go buy stuff. $64.98 pulling the trigger today. I used only the 3/8 set forever because they didn't have the S set with the metric and SAE, and I didn't run into anything I couldn't, like, I don't know that I ran into anything with the S set that I'm like, oh, I'm glad I got the S set. I just so happen to have both of them. So I've used the 3/8 for a long time. I very rarely use the screwdriver that's in my set though. Because I usually like magnetic nut drivers more than I use pass-through nut drivers as far as a screwdriver. So I've always just used the ratchet and I've actually probably used the impact adapter to stick it in my impact. I use those sets whenever I hang TVs and stuff like that. That's all I use is my connect sets and stuff. I just get those out with my impact and put the lags into studs and stuff like that. Anybody ever shot the 1.5" 18 gauge brad nails with the M12 brad nail gun? Does it have the power to set them in hardwoods? I think the longest nails I've got are 1.5" that I put in mine, because I think it says it shoots up to 1 5/8 or something, but I don't know that I've ever even seen an 1 5/8 nails, but I shoot the 1.5s and they've went into everything I've ever shot them in. I haven't had any problem, and I know I've shot them in oak. I don't know what else I've shot them in, but I put anything I've shot them in, it's went in it. Because I've even said I feel like it could shoot 2-inch nails based on what I see it do with the 1.5" nails. I would guess they didn't allow it to shoot 2-inch nails because then nobody would go buy the M18 brad nailer at that point, unless you only had M18 batteries. But I think that it would do in anything you put it in. So far, it's been in everything I put it in. Don't shoot them in your foot, and it would probably for sure go in your foot or your finger. Yeah, my finger's finally healed up. Went in right there. That was a 15 gauge nail though. That one hurt. Not that a 18 gauge wouldn't still hurt, but a 15 gauge hurts probably a lot worse. It was at least a stainless steel nail, so it wasn't rusty. I still need to go to Ace Hardware and see if they've got super slick stuff because I'm starting to run pretty low. My Walmart just quit carrying it. So I need to stop in at Ace Hardware one day and see if they got some. Which there was a pretty good deal. Jeff Bowery sent it to me on Amazon there. They had like a 6 cans, I guess, for $52. That made them less than $10 a can, so that wasn't too bad. But I'm still gonna say I'm just want to know if they've got it at Ace Hardware, so I know I can still get some locally if I want to. What's your pocket EDC look like? Debating the knives. 125 Leatherman Olight Ultra to keep on me mandatory. Right now, I don't carry flashlights and stuff in my pockets because I've always got them like in my truck. And again, I'm not going in a factory and walking like normally my truck is not very far from wherever I'm working. So I don't carry as much stuff in my pockets as like I used to if I was working on my campus and I'm going to be far away from my office, that kind of stuff. So right now I'm currently running this Klein, the knife with the sheep's foot blade and then also the bit driver on that end. I've been running that just because I wanted to try it, and I actually really, really like it so far. And I'm normally a utility blade guy, so we'll just have to see over time how this stays sharp and how hard it is to sharpen and how good it is after you do that and all that kind of stuff. But I've been running that. Flashlights and stuff. My EDC 09 Nightcore with the flex head is the one that I grab out of my truck. Like I don't carry it in my pocket all the time, but whenever I get out of my truck to go in somewhere, I just grab it and put it in my pocket type of thing. And that's really the only two things I carry. Other than that, I'll carry a pencil. Like I'll either have a tracer pencil, and then I usually am also carrying one of these pencils on me, the Graph Gear. This is actually the pencil I normally carry all the time. And then if I'm doing work, I'll get out the 2mm lead. But the Graph Gear 1000 with the 0.9 lead in it, those are the ones I use the most. I can't find it in Canada, the super slick stuff or Houdini, either one. Just got the Ryobi speaker clamps that sync together. These things are nice. Jam out on the job site. Yeah, I just use my little M12 radio, but most of my job sites, I'm not like I can't jam out usually. I'm usually in occupied spaces, or even if I'm in a space, it's occupied next door to me to where I can't, like it's a business going on and they would complain type of thing. So I normally just run right there in my general area, something small. I meant debating the Cobra 125 or 150. I think at the 150, like I normally use 180s as my main one. I think I've got a 125. That the 125 is not the smallest one. The 80 is in like a 80 or something. That little small. What's this one? I definitely wouldn't. This one's not in. This one's 100. So 125 is the next. 125 would be okay, but 150 I think is the smallest one I've got. I keep that in my vest, and for me that's like the smallest size. It's really usable for most things for me. Like this is too small for me to do certain things with. It's not like it's a pretty cool tool. Like it's nice to have and all that kind of stuff, and it would probably work for some things, but for actual work, um, I would probably go 150 if it would fit in your pocket. For me, AirPods 100% of the time. Yeah, I normally just turn on the radio. I don't even mess with Bluetooth and to my thing. I just turn on the radio station and let it play. And usually it's just background noise in between cuts and stuff like that. So I don't think I've got a pair of 125s. I'm just sitting there thinking about it as you mention it. I know the ones that are in my vest are 150s. My Atlas vest in my truck, I keep them in a little pocket, and that's kind of my EDC. So, like you asked, what's your EDC in your pocket? Well, I've got a service vest. It's an Atlas 1824. I've got a video for it, but it's in my truck. That it's not like a big bulky vest, and I put it on like if I don't wear it on job sites where I'm like doing framing and drywall and all that stuff. But any service call, if I'm going into a business, it's got my name tag and stuff on it. I put it on. It gives me a couple pockets to put stuff in. And then I've also got like several little pockets up here, and I've got a small pair of 150 pliers wrench, a pair of 150 Cobras, pencil, flashlight, non-contact voltage tester. That's kind of my EDC in a sense. So that's why I also don't have as much stuff in my pocket, because it's already built into that vest, so I don't carry it on me. I just put my vest on. What's up, Andrew? Shocks bone conductive. Yeah, there's a lot of I had thought about getting those like ISO, what are they? ISO tunes or something like that. Earplugs that are kind of like hearing protection, and also you can listen to music and stuff, but I'm normally talking back and forth with people and stuff like that. So I just don't mess with it. Again, I'm usually in occupied places, and while I'm working, different people inside that office come up and start talking to you. So it's more of a pain for me to, oh, here they come, turn it off, here they come, turn it on, all that kind of stuff over and over again, that it's not been something I've ever wanted to mess with. Did you end up using the twin grip 150s as much as you intended? I've got those in that vest too. I don't use them that much, but I also don't use my twin grips that much. It's usually only whenever I've got screw problems and I need to bring them out. My Cobras work more often than not, than whenever I need something like that. I don't use the twin grips as much as Cobras, I guess I'll say. They do have their place. Like, they are definitely a good tool to have. There's been plenty of times where they've gotten me out of a jam getting a screw out of a fixture or something like that, some kind of plumbing thing going on, that I'm glad I've got them, but I still use my Cobras like way more than I'd ever even think about using the twin grips. I use my Cobras and pliers wrench are by far my two most used pliers of anything. Now, a good pair of pliers to have are I've got the small 7-inch pair and the 9-inch pair of those Snap-on Talon grip, needle nose, whatever the big long name is that they got. They're great. Like, I like those. I use them a lot. But I use them like somebody else might just use needle nose. I just use those as my needle nose. And then they've got some really good grip on them. You get any true work pants yet? No, I can't talk myself into spending that dough on those. ISO tunes sound like garbage. Good to know. You go to the gun range, what you shooting? No, I mean, if I did, it'd be back here in my back property. So we've actually got one in town, but I think they're going to close it. I had heard, so I don't know for sure. And I don't shoot a bunch. I've just got 22s and shotguns and stuff like that. My EDC's my mini Nico. Every service call, I just throw it around my waist. Yeah, mine's either my vest or my MP2 pouch, usually are the two things I use the most. I don't like things in my ear canals. I get aches from them. Screw problems happen with age. My hearing aid does Bluetooth, so my phone plays through that. Yeah, the guy I work with a lot, he wears hearing aids. I don't remember which he never he wouldn't he doesn't mess with Bluetooth on anything, so I don't know if his does it or not. He probably wouldn't even know. Milwaukee X and 1 flippy bit screwdrivers. Oh, X and 1 screwdrivers suck. I don't like the Milwaukee screwdriver handles. Like, that's just not, which again, maybe I would if I didn't find a ball handle, but I prefer Klein's grips over like any of the Milwaukee handles. Like, I just like the grip, but I've also ran Klein screwdrivers my whole entire life, so I'm used to them. Klein screwdriver grips are the only ones that whenever I put them in my hand outside of a ball grip that I don't feel like, oh, it's not a ball grip. It's like I'm so used to using a Klein screwdriver. Now it could be Klein or it could be Ideal, just that kind of a grip. They're all pretty similar. Uh, I like that on a screwdriver handle more than just a hard grip with a few spots on it type of thing. I I'm fine with that, but again, ball handles where it's at. I'm glad Klein's making them because then it just makes it to where now more people might make ball handle screwdrivers. I'm hoping we see this ball handle screwdrivers like crazy in the next little bit. But the Vessel Tame Throughs are still my favorite ones as far as dedicated screwdrivers. But I'm glad Klein's getting into the ball handles because they do multi-drivers, and we will see some stuff like what they've been coming out with, where Vessel doesn't really do that kind of stuff as much with their ball handles, anyways, at least. So I'm glad Klein's getting into it. Everything all right? Morgan's watching. Hugs from Brazil. Everything is good, buddy. Appreciate that. Speaking of the MP pouches, I've been reading a lot of posts about the Evo magnets not really holding a loaded pouch up. Have you noticed this with yours? No, but mine's the MP1, so I can't put that much stuff in it anyways. I was curious about that, like with which they probably have the same pound rating on all of them because I don't know that the clip, because in order for them to fit into that dock, the clip's probably the same on all of them, whether you got the MP3, MPMX, or whatever. So I don't know. Like, there's probably more chance of you overloading. Like, if you had an MPMX, you could put all kinds of stuff in that. Like, if you really wanted to, and I could see that happening because I want to say it's like a 5-pound rating or something on it. It's not very high, and I'm assuming it's the same on all of them, whether it's the smallest pouch or the biggest pouch. Because again, the clip I think is pretty much the same. I like your tips and the work you do on your channel. Appreciate that. What's up, Timinator? Did you get your truck back yet? I did. It ended up not being a big deal, I guess. Of course, like I said, it ended up not being a big deal, but I had already changed out calipers on both sides, brake pads on both sides, rotors on both sides. So you could take that expense out of it. Like, I still paid for all that and just put it on myself. But they ended up doing something with the ABS module or something like that. Ended up being like $150 on top of everything that I had bought. But had I taken it in and they said you need new calipers, brake pads, and rotors, and do whatever it is they did, I'm sure my bill would have been drastically more than me buying those parts and putting them on and then paying them to do whatever it is they did. But essentially, it seemed like it was some kind of a computer thing. And again, they might have done some bleeding and stuff too, because I think something about you have to do something while you're bleeding something. I don't know. I'm not a mechanic in that sort of way. I can generally do about anything, but figuring out what it is I need to do in a car and stuff, that's the different thing with certain things. Now, certain things I can do no problem because I've done it a bunch, but figuring out if somebody tells me what's wrong with it and what needs to be replaced, it's like I can get in there and replace about anything, but figuring out what it is I need to replace, that's where the skill comes in my opinion, as far as a mechanic goes. Just made it home to catch the end. Yeah, I'm about to get off here in just a minute. Yeah, it seems crazy to me tomorrow. For whatever reason, it almost feels like my week ended yesterday and then it's starting again today, like tomorrow or something would be like Monday. So I don't know why I'm even thinking that, but yeah, tomorrow's Friday, so that's pretty sweet. And like I said, if for some reason I get home early tomorrow, I might film a guest a trade for Saturday. And if I don't film one, maybe I'll do another live on Saturday. I'll try to do it around the guest of trade time, but it might just depend on how Saturday goes. If we go see our new grandbaby or something like that and the timing didn't work out, but it might be somewhere around in that general area is what I'll try to do instead of doing it early like I did last time. You're off tomorrow. Nice. Doing some drywalling tomorrow, hanging some drywall and start finishing it. I have a Milwaukee 2607 and a 2556 screwdriver, top of the line. I like Milwaukee power tools. I tell people that all the time whenever I talk to them. You know, I've ran a lot. And again, I'm not saying that they're like a huge difference between one brand and another. Like in my opinion, they're all, you buy a good brand, you're getting a good tool. Like they're all good. But I like Milwaukee because they just have so much like stuff. Which DeWalt was the same way, but Milwaukee seems like it's got more in the stuff that I do. They've got more options, and especially in the 12-volt line, which is what I really like more so than anything. But I've got a lot of M18 stuff now too. But back whenever I first started buying Milwaukee, I only ran 12 volt, and I wasn't really planning on getting into the M18. And then I just started buying, you know, a few things here or there, and then now I got quite a few things. But there's also some tools that it's better to have the M18 just for runtime and stuff like that, in my opinion. And certain things like a circular saw, I love my M12 one. Use it more often than I use my M18 one. But every now and then you just need an M18 circular saw. It just depends on what it is you're doing. You can do it later too. Yeah, I'll do it either at the guest of trade time or like probably after it or something like somewhere around in that general area. I probably won't do it like late, unless for some reason we go somewhere and we don't get back till late. But if I don't do a guest of trade video Saturday, I'll try to do a live at some time. I just try to do it. I was going to try to do it around the guest of trade time because y'all are normally on there at that time. But then that also does give an opportunity for some different people that maybe are in a crazy time zone to jump in. Then you get to meet some of the other people that watch the videos that are from the UK or, you know, wherever else. So, but I'm going to go ahead and get off here. We'll see y'all probably Saturday. Again, it may be a guest of trade. If I have time tomorrow, I'll film, see if I can film one, but I don't expect I'm going to get home early. I got a couple things I got to do after the drywall. I got to stop at a couple of jobs and look at some stuff. So, but we'll see y'all on the next one. See ya, Denny and Carlos. I just saw y'all say bye. See ya, Tom. TPG.